My name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tabua. We love Today FM in Tabua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selena, I'm from Tawengabengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Pula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news, Tangey company to supply cement from Monday. PM urges Globe to become warriors of change. And pine replanting begins in Sangani, Lambasa.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Tangey Cement Company Limited will start supplying cement to the local market from Monday. Minister for Economy Aya Said Qayyum met with Pacific Cement Limited, Tangey Cement Company and other stakeholders yesterday to find a solution for the current cement shortage issue. Pranita Prakash reports.
Tangey Cement Company Chief Executive Hong Ye Lee confirms cement production will begin tomorrow.
So now, the Pacific Cement, yesterday they already agreed to sell the clinker to us. So today morning I already meeting with their CEO, the Pacific Cement CEO. So from tomorrow we will start bringing the clinker from them. And from tomorrow too, we will 24 hours operation.
The local market was hit with supply shortages after the largest cement producing factory, Pacific Cement Limited, stopped production due to breakdown at its factory because of old age. Now the company will sell its clinker, the raw material used to produce cement, to Tangey at $147 per ton. Yang Lee says they were supplying to only 20% of the market because the demand for the cement is less.
That's maybe because of the market.
The current shortage was slowly taking its toll on the construction sector.
But government will also allow people to import cement from overseas as long as it meets the AS 3972 standard, which is very important. All those standards need to be met. We'll zero rate the duty on importation of cement.
Tangey Company, which started its operation 3 years ago, says they've ordered 24,000 tonnes of clinkers, which is expected to arrive by the end of this month. In the meantime, the company will produce 14,400 tonnes of cement on a monthly basis. Meanwhile, Syed Qayyum has expressed disappointment at the Pacific Cement's laxity to maintain the factory.
We are told that Pacific Cement may come into production by August. Apparently a lot of their machinery is over 100 years old. As we've said, we're a bit disappointed that they knew about the problem 7-8 months ago and they did not bring it to the fore.
Pacific Cement used to produce 500 tonnes cement per day to meet the local demand. The company earlier told FBC News that their replacement parts are expected to arrive in the country next month. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
Villagers on the island of Mali are pleading with those living beside the Lambasa River, Gawa River and the Wailevu River to stop polluting the sea. Eleanor Rangaivu reports all the rubbish from these three rivers end up at Mali Island.
Plastic bags, plastic bottles, food wrappers, you name it. They end up here from the mainland.
It has become a habit for those in Lambasa town and the surrounding areas to throw whatever rubbish they have into the river. And Mali Island sits by the river mouth, collecting all of it. Even the mangroves, they are slowly dying out because of this rubbish, especially plastics and pieces of timber from the sawmill.
Mali Island is located just close to the river mouth where the Lambasa, Ngawa and Wailevu rivers meet. All its three villages, Nakawanga, Vesi and Lingaulevu, experience the same situation. Rubbish washing up on their shores day and night.
The marine life around the island has been greatly affected. This is our source of income, our livelihood. When it's affected, we are all affected as well.
Tuimali Ratu Apini Sambongisa says a lot of people living beside these rivers and in the Lambasa area have no disregard for them and the marine life.
We are pleading if you can be remembered. If you do not stop, we will suffer greatly.
I plead to the Ministry of Environment and Fisheries as well, if we can work together and see, make some measure to be taken in place. At least we can plan together how best we can control the pollution that has been taken down by these three rivers, which is affecting the Mali people.
With neighboring Voroboro Island attracting tourists, this is hardly the site villagers want their visitors to arrive to. They've taken it upon themselves to continue to clean the beaches and shores while they plead with government to take action. Ellen Oturangaibiu, FBC News.
Prime Minister and UN Oceans Conference co-president Vorenge Bainimarama is asking every individual to band together and become warriors for change in defense of our oceans and seas. Bainimarama made the statement that at the official closing of World Oceans Day, which was celebrated in New York yesterday. Maggie Boyle reports.
With more than 1,100 voluntary pledges, World Oceans Day was brimming with goodwill and Fijian flair.
Many of us have made commitments that will spearhead our effort to tackle this crisis. Many of us are embarking on courses of action within our own maritime boundaries to roll back the tide.
The PM offering some practical tips on change for sustainable seas.
Take a basket to the supermarket or shop and say no when someone offers you a plastic bag.
The message reinforced by the President of the UN General Assembly and Fiji's permanent representative to the UN, Peter Thompson.
We're also celebrating the global consciousness that has now risen strong in recognition of the pressing need for humankind to begin righting the wrongs.
Collaborations have been a key ingredient in conference discussions, with the Minister for National Disaster Management outlining why.
Fiji very recently has asked Germany to help us address this gap in our knowledge by setting up a joint research facility in Fiji. This institute will bring together researchers from the world-renowned Potsdam Institute for Climate Research and our own people at the University of the South Pacific.
With the UN Oceans Conference coming to an end tomorrow, the PM is confident that countries have begun the long, slow process of reversing our damaged seas. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
An Australian police officer working in Fiji might face a charge of contempt of court. It arises from the case of foreign national Aiden Hurtado, who was charged with one count of unlawful importation of illicit drugs. This after a prosecution witness, a police officer from Sydney, who was to give evidence in court yesterday, was directed by the Australian High Commission to refrain from giving evidence because he has diplomatic immunity. Shireen Shivan with the details.
The prosecution in the case against a Colombian national Aiden Hurtado has raised concern on why Richard Briggs is not allowed to give evidence to court. Hurtado is accused of importing 20.5 kilograms of cocaine to Fiji 3 years ago. The retrial began earlier this month, and summons was issued against one of the prosecution witnesses. The Sydney-based police officer, who also works for the Transnational Crime Unit, was supposed to give evidence on the value of the cocaine and was present in court yesterday. However, he left following a directive from the Commission. Prosecutor Michael Delaney told the court this morning that this is contempt of court by the Australian High Commissioner. The prosecution requested for the officer to be in court to explain on the immunity because he has to give the street value of the cocaine in this case. Judge Justice Tushar Rajasinghe told the prosecution to determine the status of the police officer, whether he works for the Commission or the Fiji Police Force. The case will continue next week. Shireen Shivan, FBC News.
Vuniwai village in Sangani is embarking on a reforestation initiative that will see villagers plant over 20,000 pine seedlings on their land. Eleanor Rangaivu reports it's an initiative formed by Valimbasonga Tropic Boards and the landowners and facilitated by the Ministry of Forests that will also address the impacts of climate change.
22 hectares of pine was harvested from here by Valimbasonga Tropic Boards last year. An agreement was then reached with the landowners for the reforestation of this land with the help of the logging company.
We have a mutual consent and understanding whereby the contractor supply them with seedlings. The planting and the husbandry practice are being done by the resource owner, and when it matures, the Valimbasonga Tropic Boards will come back and harvest the pine again.
Minister for Forests, Oceania led the villagers in the planting of pine seedlings yesterday morning. As the facilitator of this project, the Ministry of Forests has brought in its Reforestation of Degraded Forest initiative, where it pays $240 for 1 hectare of land planted. This money will go towards village projects.
A team from Lololo and the Extension Services in Lambasa came in March, creating awareness on this, and they told us they would monitor this project. We were also told that they will be paying us for planting the pine even though it belongs to us. We got together in the village and we agreed to it, and it has led us here today.
Divisional Planning Officer Northern Alipate Mbolelevu says this pilot project should be a model for other communities.
I would like to request our communities, when they give their land for logging, they should first come to us again so that we make a memorandum of agreement with the logging companies so that they can supply us the seedlings so that we can replant the place where they have logged already.
Under this partnership, Valimbasonga Sawmillers is to supply 22,000 pine seedlings to be planted here. It will be ready for harvest by 2037. Eleanor Turangibiu, FBC News.
Still to come, funding for secure borders. A 900 graduate with skills set. Details after the break.
Nimbula binaka na yavangunga andi moala ranalika o tikonga na tao no singatoka ando talisaka na bakaronga ng Bula FM nambandua na serre.
Ya dora subuli kurnambili. Iborani batsukara hambara binanga. Do talitakina na baronga ng Bula FM nambandua na serre. Bula.
Bula FM nambandua na serre.
Illicit drug trade has increased in the Pacific, prompting a need to enforce tighter security measures and proper trade facilitation procedures at our borders. A grant agreement of more than $2 million was signed today between the New Zealand government and the Oceania Customs Organisation to carry out such initiatives. Kelly Vadala reports.
The funding will help the Oceania Customs Organisation combat these problems.
It provides us with a very solid platform for the next 3 years on how we can use that to support our members with being trade facilitation, law enforcement and border security, securing the borders, and also in terms of customs training and leadership and revenue mobilizations.
New Zealand High Commissioner to Fiji, Mark Ramsden, says it's vital that certain projects are implemented.
For countries to trade with each other, there are all sorts of technical, intricate, difficult things that need to happen. And even for a country like New Zealand, it's complex and it's something we have to put a lot of work into making work.
OCO Head Secretariat Sefe Painu says the funding will also assist in educating and training other island member states on how to monitor their borders.
Support to our members through working with our partner organizations to provide capacity and training.
OCO says the 3-year grant will assist in implementing customs modernization and reforms to deliver improved services. Kelly Vathala, FBC News.
A 22-year-old police officer of Nandawa Nasinu has been identified as the victim of the alleged hit-and-run accident in Walubay Lami last Thursday. The victim was identified by a relative yesterday. A post-mortem will be conducted tomorrow to determine the cause of death. Police are requesting the public to assist in identifying the vehicle involved. More than 13,000 Fijians graduated between 2012 to 2016 under the government-funded Sustainable Livelihood Training Project under the Fiji National University. FNU Project Coordinator Setereki Valenitambua has confirmed more than 70% of the graduates have found work. Savara Tambua reports.
Today, another 959 Fijians graduated after 2 weeks of training in skills ranging from carpentry to child and elderly care. Some graduates wore clothes they'd made with the skills they'd learned. For some of them, age is no barrier and is also an eye-opener.
With this certificate, we can go to overseas
and it teaches us how to love children and elderly people.
I attend this course because I know it will help me in repairing my brush cutter. Before I used to take it to someone else for repair, and it wastes a lot of money, but from today I'll repair it on my own.
If you graduated from here, there's a leeway for you to go back to NTPC and do vocational and technical training and get a degree and get further certificates.
Commissioner Central Setereki Tal is urging young people to engage in this kind of program to help them to be self-employed.
I think it's a good beginning for most young people, having been equipped with the knowledge to be able to start up their own businesses. And I'm pretty certain that this could fall into the category of criteria that might be looked at for people to be assisted through government's self-help and other development programs.
FNU is hoping government will allocate more funds in the next coming budget to support the program. Sabira Tambua, FBC News.
New Zealand's Salmonella dubs Tikitane will be playing live in Fiji at the Thurston Food and Music Festival. Event manager Elana Kaloni Singer says Tikitane alongside 12 Fijian bands will bring a diverse range of live entertainment for 13 hours. Tikitane will be in Fiji on the 20th of next month, staying at the Holiday Inn in Suva. The Music Fest will be held at Suva's Thurston Garden on the 15th of July from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. The festival is being organised by FBC, Knox Entertainment, Paradise Beverages and Suva City Council.
I encourage everybody to get their tickets early because there's a lot of interest in the festival. Tickets are selling fast. They're available at the Rock Market from next Sunday, also available at the Rock Cafe FBC and also Ginger Kitchen down at the museum. So they're only $20 and that's for 13 hours.
Ahead in sports with Jamie, local bowlers dominate South Pacific Carnival, but joining us next is Rachel with business.
Thank you, Jacqueline. Good evening, and coming up in business tonight. Millions made by film production in the country. And in growing Fiji, first ever multi-purpose court in Ayawa, Singatoka. Stay with us.
Whenever I want to tune in to listen to great music, I always tune in to my favorite radio station, Gold FM, only the classic.
My name is Lita. We love listening to Gold FM here at the Fiji Hideaway Resort and Spa. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
We're here at Kano Waterfront, Lautoka. Love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
In business tonight, more than $175 million worth of film production were generated in the first 6 months of this year. This is a 29.6% increase from last year's total production value. Rapati Valemay has more.
Tourism Minister Fayaz Koe says this year is going to be busier for the Fiji film industry.
The government is mindful of the benefits that such a growing industry brings in terms of employment, economic activity and film tourism. In 2016, I think we've had a total of 57 odd productions. The value of this was about $135 odd million.
Koe says the production companies injected $43 million directly into the economy and generated new economic activity worth about $120 million.
Apart from the direct benefits, the production films and shows in Fiji increases the visibility of our country on the international stage, which in turn promotes and boosts the tourism sector by driving visitor arrivals.
Film Fiji Chief Executive Dallas Foon wants this industry to grow.
We want this industry to be long-term. We want this industry to continue to thrive, and that means we all have to contribute to it in a good, honest manner.
Film Fiji anticipates more quality productions scheduled for the second half of this year, and they are looking at another record-breaking year. Rapata Valemay, FBC News.
And now with an update on the world economy and the influence of the still undecided British elections. Here's Elizabeth from HFC Bank.
Good evening. An update on economic news released yesterday. Europe's gross domestic product increased to 1.9% from 1.7%. The European Central Bank decided to maintain the interest rate at 0%, judging that the Eurozone is rebounding and the inflation remains weak. In Britain, the prospect of having no single party with a clear claim to power sent the pound down 1.9% from today's opening, the lowest since April. Investors are worried that political uncertainty in Britain could lead to months of uncertainty for Brexit negotiations due to comments in 2 weeks. Elsewhere, the damage was limited, with the S&P 500 off 0.1% and Japan's Nikkei added 0.3%.
Thanks, Elizabeth. On to today's exchange rates. The Fijian dollar strengthened against the Chinese yuan to close at 3.23, while the American dollar weakened, closing at 47 cents. As for the regional currencies, the Australian dollar rose, closing at 62 cents, and the New Zealand PNG kina weakened to close at 65 cents and 132. As for the commodities market, a drop across the index today as oil prices closed at $45.67 a barrel. Gold closed at $1,278 an ounce, and silver followed suit to weaken and close at $17.39 an ounce. In Growing Fiji tonight, the first multi-purpose sports court in Nayawa, Singatoka, will benefit hundreds in the districts and the surrounding areas. The $120,000 facility can be used for volleyball, basketball, netball, soccer and even tennis. Local Government Minister Praveen Kumar highlighted the need for Fijians to take ownership of their health and reduce non-communicable diseases.
These facilities will be available to everyone, and I urge all of you to make use of these facilities. In particular, it provides additional training and competition facilities for the athletes that the district of Singatoka and the larger province of Nandroga Navosa is famous for.
And that was business this evening. Jamie joins you now with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening in sports tonight. Tsale Vatumbua ready for debut. And Fiji football leaves for New Caledonia. This and more coming up.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकु रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ. मिर्ची एफएम is number 1. It's so hot.
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे. मिर्ची एफएम is hot.
हाय, मैं संध्या नारियल रेकी से. मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं. मिर्ची एफएम is hot. I love मिर्ची एफएम.
हमें स्पिन तो हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे.
मिर्ची एफएम, it's hot.
Vodafone flying Fijian inside centre Tsale Vatumbua hopes to live up to the standard of those who have worn the jersey before him when he debuts against the Wallabies tomorrow. The 25-year-old who plays club rugby for Pau in France says it's a dream come true to don the national jumper. Rohit Deo reports.
Tsale Vatumbua is ready to showcase his talent to the world. The 1.89 meters tall flyer is hoping to follow the Fijian culture and make a name for himself as a flying Fijian.
Big boots to fill. That's a right line to use, big boots to fill, but knowing all the number 12s and 13s that have gone past for the Fiji team, I've got a standard that I have to play up to.
The 120 kg Tailevuled has been classed as the clone of All Black centre Sonny Bill Williams by overseas media. Vatumbua says he knows the expectations of fans and will try his best to live up to it.
There's a lot of expectations from the country, from the coaches, from everyone for this flying Fijian squad, and yeah, I'll do my best to just to play to the best of my ability.
Coach John McKee says work is in progress as beating Tier 1 nations remains the goal for his team.
I guess that's the challenge in front of us to improve our game, so that we can start beating some Tier 1 teams.
Support will not be an issue for the Fijian players as the team has a good following in Melbourne. The side takes on the Wallabies at 5 p.m. at Amy Park tomorrow. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
The Naita Siri rugby side is currently playing Northland in the Skipper Cup competition. Before the game, coach Koli Sewambu spoke of the importance of the match with a lot at stake for both teams. Sewambu said while Naita Siri is playing to increase its chances for a spot in the semi-finals, their opponents will be fighting hard for survival in the top division.
We know that Northland, they are currently bottom 2 and they'll be fighting for survival this week. So for us it's a matter of treating this game as a final and also going for that bonus point so that we can guarantee our spot in the semi-finals in the next few weeks.
Local bowlers have dominated the week-long South Pacific Bowling Carnival, which has attracted more than 80 participants. The last event, the Fours discipline, is currently underway with some renowned names in the sport taking part. Vasnil Prasad has more.
The annual South Pacific Bowling Carnival is heating up as bowlers approach the climax of the final event.
Everything has been going according to plan, and we are into our last event, which is the Fours, and it's the Blue Ribbon event of the Carnival.
The week-long competition has attracted many bowlers, both overseas and local. Some are new, while few have been coming to Fiji for the last 14 years.
To meet up with all the bowlers over here, it's great companionship, and you know it's a great tournament.
The Fours discipline is the final event where current and former Fiji reps are playing. The women's category is also interesting, with only 6 teams in action on a round-robin basis.
The ladies are just extremely competitive, which is lovely. We've been coming here for about 4 years now. I'm an ex-Vatakola girl, and we just love coming here. The competition's great.
The competition ends on Sunday. Vasnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Vodafone Fiji football side left for New Caledonia today for the return leg of the FIFA World Cup Stage 3 qualifier. The team has been hit with a few injuries, with Setereki Hughes ruled out, while Christopher Wasasala and Yosefo Vervo are in doubt for Sunday's match. Meanwhile, coach Christophe Gamel says he looks forward to see how his players perform, playing a tougher match against New Caledonia at home.
This game is also made to see how we will react in front of a big crowd. We know that the New Caledonia team at home is very strong, very powerful, and it will give us so many problems. I want to see also other players how they will react and how they will face this kind of problem.
Weightlifting Fiji's veteran Oceania Vai has set a new trial record, lifting a massive career best of 222 kilos in 2 categories during the National Team Fiji trials for the Commonwealth Championship, Asian Indoor Games, World Championship and Pacific Mini Games. At the trials in New Caledonia, the 26-year-old in the 69-kilogram category lifted 100 kilograms in the snatch and 122 kilos in the clean and jerk. Vai's 2 lifts matched the Oceania record for the 69-kilogram category set in 2000 by an Australian weightlifter. Meanwhile, Eileen Vikamatana and Daniela Renimbongi have qualified to take part at the World Junior Championships in France later this month. Professional Fijian Rugby League players who play in more than 6 NRL games this season will automatically get selected in the Fiji Mbati squad for the 2017 Rugby League World Cup. Fiji residents coach Joe Rambele says players who played less than 6 matches will need to play in the Battle of the Mbati in October for the final selection of the squad. Rambele says local residents players need to step up if they want to make it into the final squad.
Australian Fijian, all the players that are not playing NRL, especially the likes of Eloni, Bunakede, so they'll come and they will have to come for these trials. They'll come with Australian Fijian. For example, if there's 16 or 14 players available for NRL, so the 10th position will be decided in the Battle of the Mbati.
In cricket, Sri Lanka executed a masterful run chase the stun holders India with a 7-wicket win in the ICC Champions Trophy. All 4 teams in Group B have 1 victory from 2 matches going into the final round of games, in which Sri Lanka faces Pakistan and defending champions India meet South Africa. That's it from sports this evening. Catch weather later on with Angie. And in new media, Korean prosecution has labeled smartphone app developers which allow users to purchase coupons for plastic surgery illegal. Details after the break.
Bula, keron may singatoka, keron do talita ka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko do talita na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Kaya buyago sila tali, naguraramay na omani, nandunga. Gitu talita gini ang gitu pinasabali, nagundurong. Barro na Radio Fiji 1 nandumai biti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 nandumai biti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, there are smartphone apps which allow users to purchase coupons for plastic surgery and related medical services at a low cost in South Korea. However, the Korean prosecution sees it as an illegal brokering of medical services and indicted app providers and doctors. Angie joins us now with the latest in weather.
Hello to you and to another weekend. Yes, it's finally here and I know most of us are very excited, and seeing the weather improve just doubles our excitement. It was a bit cloudy for today, but we didn't get that much rain. Looking at today in the west, after a few light showers, conditions stayed mostly cloudy with a few thunderstorms. Eastwards, from Peck Harbor to Suva, conditions dominated much of the area, but no sign of any rain, although we might get some showers later tonight. And up in Vanuatu, there wasn't much sunshine around, but conditions were muggy. At sea, northeast winds 15 to 20 knots with moderate to rough seas. And for the tides, low tide will be at 12:07 tomorrow morning with a high tide at 6:15. Sunrise will be at 6:33. For tomorrow, we will have early morning showers, but don't get depressed because all the showers will move away and give us a fine day. So have your plans for tomorrow all set and going. Tomorrow's temps, most centers will have highs of 29. Looking ahead to Sunday, the pleasant weather will continue. And that, Jackie, is FBC weather for tonight.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. On Fijian Pulse today, we asked, will the Flying Fijians beat the Wallabies in the test match tomorrow?
We can beat Wallabies because we got very strong players in our Fiji team. They really can do it. They can really beat Wallabies.
Yes, because Fiji can beat Wallabies because we've got good boys in the Fiji squad.
Fiji can beat Wallabies because we have strong team.
I think Fiji will win the squad because Aka Pusingar is in the Fiji team.
In the world of the weird and the wonderful, the idea that modern people evolved in a single cradle of humanity in East Africa some 200,000 years ago is no longer tenable. According to a new research, fossils of 5 early humans have been found in North Africa that show that they emerged at least 100,000 years earlier than previously recognized. Recapping the main stories, Tangey company to supply cement from Monday. PM urges Globe to become warriors of change, and pine replanting begins in Sangani, Lambasa. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question, this week we are asking, has the campaign for next year's general election started too soon? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, today's shot of the day was sent in by Dexter Smith. The image was captured in Ravi Ravi village on Benga Island. The beach is said to be one of the best places to enjoy the sunset. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, have a safe and enjoyable weekend. Good night.